Priests of Persia, the throne above heaven. Prologue: before heaven spoke, before heaven had choirs, before hell had fire, before angels understood obedience, there was balance. Creation did not begin with love. It began with order. And when order wavered, something was made to correct it. They were not angels. They were not gods. They were not born to worship. They were called the Priests of Persia. And among them, one name was never spoken aloud. The heaven that trembled. Heaven was never meant to feel fear. Yet on this day, fear moved through it like a shadow. Golden rivers froze in mid-flow. Songs lost their harmony. Wings trembled without wind. Angels fell silent, not because of rebellion, not because of war, but because judgment approached. Even the strongest among heaven's armies lowered their gaze, for they remembered an ancient truth. When heaven itself is questioned, the priests awaken. Long ago, when the first rebellion scarred creation, heaven learned something dangerous. Even angels could misunderstand free will. And so, from the first light, beings were shaped without desire, without pride, without ambition. They were given truth, without mercy, and without hatred. They were sealed away, not because they were evil, but because they were correct. Hit the follow button as we continue. The Awakening of Ahriman. Voiceover deeper, slower, beneath forgotten layers of existence, bound by laws older than heaven itself. One of them opened his eyes. Ahriman el-Shiraz, High Priest of the Persian order. Reality did not resist him. Reality adjusted. Time slowed, not from force, but from respect. He rose without urgency, for urgency is born from fear, and fear was never given to him. His first question was not spoken aloud. What has fallen out of alignment? Pause. He walked through barriers that once divided heaven from the void, not breaking them, not bending them, simply reminding them why they existed. Angels felt their memories sharpen. Their ranks felt heavier, and heaven understood. The judge had returned. The fall of the Lighttbar. Voiceover. Far below heaven's silence, hell burned louder than ever. Its king stood crowned in flame. Lucifer, first of the fallen, prince of defiance. He laughed when he sensed the awakening. He always laughed, until hell itself grew quiet. Pause. When the priest entered hell, fire bent away from his steps. Demons knelt without command, not from loyalty, but from instinct. Lucifer spoke with fire and poetry. Ahriman answered with truth, and truth has weight. With a gesture, lies were stripped from Lucifer's voice. For the first time since rebellion, the Lightbearer spoke only what was real. Chaos struck order. Fire struck silence. Reality shook, not from the battle, but from what it represented. And when it ended, Lucifer stood wingless, not punished, corrected, power reclaimed. that had never been his to keep. The judgment of heaven. Voiceover solemn. Victory was never the purpose. Judgment was. Ahriman turned his gaze upward, toward heaven itself. Angels were weighed, not by strength, but by intent. Loyalty was measured. Fear was revealed. Authority was rewritten. Some ranks were stripped. Some memories faded. Heaven did not fall, but it changed. Pause. Then Ahriman looked upon earth. Fragile, chaotic, imperfect. Humanity. For the first time since his creation, the priest hesitated. This hesitation was not error. It was discovery, the question that shook creation. And then the source revealed itself, not as form, not as voice, but as understanding. One question passed through all existence. Do you judge me? Long silence. Ahriman knelt, not in worship, but in acknowledgement. He understood. A perfect heaven would erase choice. A corrected creation would end meaning. Balance did not require perfection. It required freedom. Pause. And so the priest made a choice. No priest had ever made. He sealed himself away. He sealed the order, not as punishment, but as restraint. Heaven endured. Hell remembered. Humanity continued, unaware of how close it came to perfection. And somewhere beyond existence, the priests of Persia wait, not as rulers, not as saviors, but as witnesses. For perfection is not divine. Choice is. Fade to silence.
Me.